All right, the CFL season gets going on Thursday, and we are wrapping up the preview today. It is first CFL difference makers. These are guys that, if they were traded to another team, immediate impact, or guys who have made an immediate impact on their squad as well. So we will start in Winnipeg, which, looking at it, they have the most, which makes my Grey Cup pick a little bit later on a little questionable, but we'll figure that out later. The first difference maker is Zach Collaros. That's obvious. It's 3 years in a row that he's been voted the best player in the league. If that's not a difference maker, then we just shut this whole thing down right now. I do believe Brady Oliveira is a difference maker as well. Being Canadian and being that ratio buster of being an elite level player while also being Canadian in this league helps out. Also, he is just a gosh darn wrecking ball at the running back spot. Dalton Schoen, I think, is also a difference maker. He is a type of receiver that is so reliable and is someone that you really, really trust in big situations, whether it is in the red zone, whether it is second and long, or if you just need a big play. He can do all of those things. He immediately raises the level of any offense that he is in. And the last one offensively there is Stanley Bryant. Is he what he used to be? No, but I still think that his play on the offensive line makes a difference out in Winnipeg. On the defensive side, it's a couple of classics with Willie Jefferson and Adam Big Hill. Both of them certainly come winding down, and Big Hill dealing with some injury issues, but you put either of those guys on any team in the CFL, that defense automatically becomes better. Up next, the BC Lions. They only have a couple. On offense, it's Vernon Adams. I think that he is good enough that you put him in any offense and that offense gets elevated. Now, that is going to be tested in BC this season because they have lost a sneaky amount on the offensive side. So we will see what they are able to do, and this will be a real test of VA to see what level he actually gets to. And on the defensive side, I think defensive back Gary Peters is the type of defensive back that can make a difference on your team, and you feel good about him when you have him on the defense, which is, I mean, kind of an obvious statement, but you know what I mean. Out in Calgary, they actually have more than BC, but you will notice a trend. Micah Alway, Demario Houston, and Mike Rose, I think, are all difference makers. Alway, I think, is legitimately one of the best players in the league. Houston, I think, has a chance. Like, he has already kind of broken out, or not kind of. He has already broken out, but I do think that there might even be another level that he can get to defensively. And then Mike Rose, to put it very analytically, is just a gosh darn beast. So I think those three guys absolutely make a difference. The issue that Calgary has is they have but one difference maker on offense, and that would be Reggie Bagleton, who is just a stud as a wide receiver. Again, like Schoen, you trust him in all different sorts of situations. He is comfortable going deep. You can also get him on a couple of quick ones and put the ball in his hands and make him make plays. It helps out as well. I think offensively, he is really the thing that gets this team going. The problem is they just don't have enough on the offensive side out in Calgary. In Saskatchewan, I have three. Trevor Harris at quarterback. I think that became very apparent last season when he went down with an injury and this team went in the absolute tank. That one may be a bit more situational, and some of these are, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily just mean the best player in your position. Like, if you were to trade Vernon Adams to Winnipeg, he's probably backing up Zach Collaros. So, like, the stipulation for this exercise when it comes to quarterbacks is a little bit different. But I do think that God, this is going to sound so cliche, but his competitiveness, his desire to just hey, we're not losing today. I do think that makes a difference. And then he is so smart out on the field and recognizes different things defensively really, really well, and has a real feel and an understanding for the game that just elevates everyone on offense around him. I think AJ Ouellette is a difference maker at the running back spot. I think that he is one of those game-breaking type of guys that is so important in the CFL. When you're handing it off in a two-down league, essentially a two-down league. I think more teams should go for it on third down, but that's a different story for a different day. I think that Ouellette is someone that can bust off a 6, 7, 8-yard run, and now you're in 2nd and 2, and the entire offensive playbook opens up. He's someone that you can give it to on 2nd and 4 and still think you can get a first down. I really do think that he is a rising tide that lifts all ships. On the defensive side of the ball, it's Jameer Thurman. I picked him on 3 down as my defensive player of the year, and So obviously, I think he can make a difference on this defense. Out in Edmonton, they have three. First, it is Trey Ford at quarterback. Yes, the backup quarterback for the Edmonton Elks is a difference maker. You just watch what happened when he came in. There is no one like him in the Canadian Football League. Teams did not know what to do with him, which is why I think it is insanity that Edmonton went out and spent big money on a quarterback when they could have spent that money in other areas. But I think that Ford is someone who he was coming along as a passer, and his legs and his scrambling ability and his athleticism make him an absolute weapon. Eugene Lewis is a difference maker as well. He improves every receiving room he is in. Another one that he is a safety blanket for your quarterbacks, and he doesn't need to be open, right? That's kind of the best way I can put it. And then Javon Leake as the kick returner. He's the only special teams guy I have on here. He is a real weapon for Edmonton that can shift fields. And especially when we get down to those ugly, ugly months here in Canada, he is someone that can really change a game very quickly in the old field position battles. Moving out east, Toronto. Chad Kelly, obviously. Not going to say much more on him. That situation continues to play out. I haven't had to say this one a whole lot. Faloran or Oromalade. There we go. Oromalade is just so studly on the defensive side. Him and Seresna are both guys on the defensive side of the football that are just absolute monsters and 100% beasts on the Toronto defensive side, along with Winton McManus, who is I remember watching a game against Calgary, and I was like, are there 8 of this guy? Because he is just everywhere. Always. Those 3 guys are game wreckers on the defensive side of the football. They're pronunciation wreckers for podcasters like me who don't have to say their name a whole lot and just hear it and, oh yeah, I can make my mouth say those names. But they are absolute game breakers on the defensive side. Out in Montreal, Reggie Stubblefield, Darnell Sankey, and Marc-Antoine Dequoy are all, I think, difference makers. I think that, again, complete game wreckers. When you group them all together, it is a real force out there. And I just think that they all 3 of them individually and then together elevate any defense that they would be on in the CFL. Out in Hamilton, Tim White as a receiver, big play fellow, whatnot. He is someone who I do think, again, would just be not only a game breaker, but he is a difference maker, drive breaker, whatever you need. He is that guy. And then defensively, Jamal Peters, one of the best defensive players in the CFL. I don't think a whole lot more needs to be said about that. I have 2 out in Ottawa. Darius Pickett on the defensive side. He is such a smart defensive player. He is such a athletic defensive player, and he is someone who just ruins things for defenses. He didn't get enough credit last year because Ottawa's defense was one of the worst we've ever seen. And offensively, I do think they acquired one in Dominique Rhymes. I think he is going to have another real breakout season, and I think he is going to be a key to unlocking a lot in this offense out in Ottawa.